Hey, I'm Joe Scully, chef owner of Corner Kitchen in Chestnut. Today I'm wearing my Corner Kitchen chef's coat. But what we're going to do is we're going to teach you guys how to make things to give away at Christmas. So all this is going to end up in here. Well, a lot of these, but you get the idea. So this is called apple butter. All right, and apple butter starts with apples. I use Granny Smith's because they're really tart. And in this case, you take 4 pounds of apples, and you can double the recipe, by the way. You cut them up in such a way that you don't peel them or do anything to them. And the reason you don't do that is because there's lots of pectin in the pits and the peels. So that's it. You just cut into quarters, all right? And then you throw it into a pot, like so, all of it together. You put 2 cups of water and 1 cup of apple cider vinegar. And you're gonna probably wonder why we put all this water in, because basically we're gonna end up reducing this to get the water out of it. But the reason we put the water in is so it can actually have a medium to where it boils. So the first step of this, and we're gonna come back to the second step, is you take this, you bring it to a boil, you let it simmer until the apples are broken down or fully cooked, and then we'll go on to the second step in just a second. So now that we've let the apples cook for a bit, you can see that they're fully cooked, peels and all. We're just gonna scoop it into a bowl here, because I'm gonna go right back into the same pot with the pureed and strained apples. And there's a reason that we do this, so we can measure it after we pulp it. So this is the pulp. This is a little food mill. You can get this at Bed Bath & Beyond for 30 bucks or so. And you just basically scoop that in there. Let me just turn this around so you guys can see what I'm doing. And you know what, you're gonna make a mess, so it's okay. You'll live. And then you just basically move that through the food mill. And it takes a couple of minutes to do this, so I'm probably just gonna cut away and come back, but you get the idea. And once you get this all through, then you have to measure the pulp, and for each cup of pulp, you use half a cup of sugar, which is a whole lot of sugar, but that's okay. So anyway, so you can see that we're getting a nice pulp through here, and use my rubber spatula to kind of scrape it around and make sure that we get, you want to get your money's worth out of this, so take the time to back it off a little bit and then come through again. And at a certain point, it'll be pretty much all peels and pits and stems and all that kind of stuff. And at that point, you can call it, I personally think it's kind of meditative and nice to be able to do this. So there we go. So that's all of our pulp. Scrape the last of it. You can discard that. And then what we want to do is we kind of want to measure it. I'm going to grab this thing real quick. So this is a graduated cylinder that I can see how much my yield is. I just scoop it in there momentarily to just get an idea of how much sugar I should put in it. So this is really, oh no, it's about 1.5 quarts, so that's 6 cups. So you want to use 3 cups of sugar. So we're gonna put that on the stove. We're gonna measure our 3 cups into it. And it's not baking, so don't kill yourself over the measurements, you know, just kind of ballpark it. Little cup measure here. And this is a preserved item that when we get done, I'll show you how you might use this for Christmas time. So the other ingredients are the zest of a lemon, okay? And I use a micro grater to zest the lemon, and then I use the juice of that same lemon. It calls for a little bit of salt, and I always put a little bit of salt in sweet things because it activates your taste buds. Very important. Cloves and allspice, and that's half a teaspoon of each for what it's worth. And then you just mix this together, and you put it back on the stove. Let me check my recipe, make sure I haven't forgotten anything. Oh, that's good. Okay, so what'll happen here is this is going to go through a major transformation. It's going to go back on the stove, and you let it cook. Because what you essentially have right now is applesauce. And applesauce is great, but apple butter and applesauce are distant cousins. They're not the same thing. So after I've simmered this for a long time, this was a double batch when I started, you can really see the difference in this. It's really, really an amazing thing that this turns out to be this rich. And the reason they call it apple butter is because once it chills, it'll spread like butter, and you can use it, in the morning. You can use it with a charcuterie plate, cheese and meat kind of thing. Lots of uses for apple butter. And what we do in my house is we put them in these little containers, make a little label, and we give these away as Christmas gifts. And honestly, I think it's one of the most thoughtful things that you can do for somebody is to make something for them from your heart. And that's what we do at Chestnut and Corner Kitchen. We make a whole lot of food. So check this out, take your time, make it, and then, of course, keep some for yourself, but give it away.